I have watched with bemusement. I've been puzzled at the degree to which this thing just kept on going.
Wow, welcome back to Hardball. That's President Obama today, the big winner in the birther game, I believe. Are there other winners like Republican leaders, the few who refuse to play the game of birtherism, and who besides Donald Trump gets stuck with a dunce cap tonight? Mother Jones David Corn is a MSNBC analyst, of course, and Josh Marshall is the estimable editor and founder of Talking Points Memo, TPM. Josh, let me talk to you. I want to propose one winner, and that's a noble Republican on this issue. Mitt Romney, Monday on Fox. Let's listen to Mitt Romney not play the birther game.
Sure, I believe he was born in the United States, and frankly, I think that the way forward to have him retired after one term in office is to make sure the people in this country understand how bad his policies have been.
You know, I think you took a lot of heat, and you probably still will down the road to be a Republican going out into the country, especially out in the rural areas where there's always a bunch, maybe a majority in the room, who want to believe the worst about the president. I give Romney credit. He's not Mr. Excitement, but I give him credit for not playing the game, not being a pander bear to the right crazies.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of a sad commentary that is, that's an honorable move to make. But sure, I mean, I think he's one of the relatively few Republicans that not only hasn't embraced birtherism, but hasn't even made all the kind of innuendos that is sort of what you need to do to be, in the club in the Republican primary world today, or Republican Party.
You got to do, like Huckabee does, where, I don't question that, but I got other questions about him, or I wonder if he's born on this planet, and you always have to join in the spirit of birtherism, which he's not really one of us.
Well, you also had that, that line that John Boehner had about, he doesn't believe it, but if people in his caucus believe it, well, he's not going to police what other people think. So there's all sorts of gradations of it.
That's very Nixonian. Nixon used to say, I'm not one of those who believes the Supreme Court's packed with communists, but there are those who do.
Right. And
who believe that. There are those who say.
Respect. Yeah. I mean, I think Obama's a big winner today because he gets to make a larger point about the media latching on to trivial issues, and he looks again, this is what he wants to do to impress voters.
Trump is trivial.
He looks again like the grown-up in the room.
Right, good for him.
Again and again and again on issues large and small.
Okay, here he is on Oprah making, I guess, that point. Here he is talking about this very birtherism stuff. The show will be aired, by the way, on the 2nd of May. Here's the president, Oprah, talking about his birth certificate.
And before you came today, you had a press conference.
I did.
By the time this airs, it will be all over the world that you outed the birth certificate. You let us see the birth certificate.
He was born here.
Yes, and that it's confirmed again that you are born once again in the United States. Why did you wait so long, though?
Keep in mind what had happened. This came up about two and a half years ago. And so we called up the folks in Hawaii and the Department of Health.
When it first came up, were you thinking, I hope I was born here? What were you?
Can I just say I was there. So I knew that I knew I'd been born there. I remembered it.
Of course you did.
Well, that's lighthearted and an appreciative audience there. But there are audiences, by the way, who would be booing him right now.
Well, of course, and we won't see an end to all the other conspiracy theories. Franklin Graham, the evangelical leader, a couple of weeks ago said that the Obama administration has been infiltrated at the highest levels by the Muslim Brotherhood.
Well, he says the president's a Muslim.
And he said, well, he's
got the seed of Islam in him.
And he's questioned his Christianity. So the birther impulse, which is deep within a certain segment of the population, will find other outlets. It's like the air in the balloon.
You know why I don't believe in royalty, guys? You know why I don't believe in royalty? Why people should inherit titles?
Yes.
Franklin Graham.
Okay, well,
that would be my argument. Let me go right now to Trump today. Here he is. Trump, unstoppable. Here he is. Let's listen.
I think if he wants to release it, that's fine. And if he doesn't want to release it, that's fine, too. But the word is, you'd think he'd want to release it, actually. Because the word is he wasn't a good student, and he ended up getting into Columbia and Harvard. And I'd like to know, well, this is what I read written by some of the people in this room. I'd like to know, how does he get into Harvard? How does he get into Columbia if he isn't a good student? It's an interesting thing.
This is desperate. This is desperate nonsense. Crapola, Josh Marshall. I guess he doesn't want to admit he's wrong. That's part of being a successful land developer. You never admit you're wrong, ever, ever, ever. Every bet has to be doubled down on. Why doesn't he just say like a man, I was wrong. I asked him for it. He showed it to me. Touche. It's his day. Well, does that make Trump look bad? I think that would make Trump look good.
It
myself,
would, but this is remember, this is, as you said, this is Donald Trump. This is like, why isn't water more dry? It's sort of in the nature of the thing. Of course, he's not going to admit he's wrong. But I think, you know, when Trump starts getting into this thing about he was a terrible student and yet he got into Harvard, that actually runs counter to really pretty much everything we know about Obama. And I think it brings us back to
what's next? LSAT scores?
Well, it has always been a big part of the birther movement, race. And you know, we joke about it. It's all these kind of crazy ideas and stuff. But race has always been a huge part of it. And that's exactly what Trump is going for when he's now pushing the line that Obama is some sort of, you know, affirmative action case or something like that and didn't deserve to go to Columbia or Harvard and by implicitly to be president. And the thing is, you know,
right.
No one can
Josh,
attack
you're so smart. You make me
Donald
sad,
Trump.
though. You make me sad. You make me sad that people think like this, because all the evidence around us is that the racial difference on IQ is not there. There's no evidence whatever. This is just nonsense to keep believing this stuff. Look, the guy, read his book. Read 2 pages of the book he wrote, and you realize this man is so gifted as a writer. And then Trump has to come around and say, well, he never wrote the book.
Well, you know,
some terrorist wrote it. I mean, when do you stop believing the malarkey?
We have 2 wars now, maybe 3 if you count Libya. The economy still is in a fragile state. There's so much happening, and for him to talk about Barack Obama's college records as if that means anything to anybody shows that he is not serious. He has no ideas to offer, and he's just playing up this notion that there's something phony about Barack Obama. We've had... You know, you can do that during the campaign, but we have had 2 years of action that he can judge Barack Obama on. There are policy things that he can dispute.
You know, it reminds me of a friend of mine who was up. It reminds me of a friend of mine who was up for a Rhodes Scholarship, and he had 4.0 at my college, which nobody ever had. 4.0 for 4 years in Holy Cross. Nobody ever had 4.0 before. So in the middle of the interview, after he said, "What was your grades?" he said, "Well, actually, I've had all A's since I got here," which is like never been done. The guy said, "Well, how'd you do in high school?" That's what this seems to be like. Or that one of those old things they used to do when the racists ran the South, when they'd say, you know, the old joke about the literacy test. What does this say? And it says, basically, it says, you're not going to get the vote here in grosser language than that, right? They'd ask you to explain something in Greek or something. Let me get a look here. Here's a list of the birthers out there. By the way, this is a list of people that I think is going to go down in ignominy. Look at these names. Bill Posey of Florida, Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee, Dan Burton, look at the names, Indiana, John Campbell of California, John Carter of Texas, Michael Conaway of Texas, John Culberson of Texas, Trent Franks of Arizona, Louis Gohmert of Texas, Bob Goodlatte of Virginia, Kenny Marchant of Texas, Neugemeyer of Texas, Ted Poe of Texas. Notice the common nature of the geography, David. Well, is there something about down south that makes people birthers? There's one exception, Indiana.
I want to see their college records. Let's see how smart these people were.
What is it about the people that want to believe the worst?
Listen, it's either race or this profound desire to present Barack Obama as something different than as an American. And if they want to say in Texas it's because he comes from Hawaii, they can do that. But the clearest difference is a matter of race.
Everybody who says he wasn't born here, everybody who says he's not American should bet $1 million to their best friend and give it to charity. Put some money behind your BS. That's what Trump should have done. Put some money on it.
We should have bet him on the show.
It's too cheap, these lies. Too cheap. Anyway, David, these suspicions, I should call them. David Corn, this is a great day for America today. Now we know the truth, and we know who's not telling it.